There's an old one set of pages that's been around for years. Me mother kept it from the past in a box beneath the stairs. Its cracked brown leather cover still carries from afar some scenes of Egypt drawn by someone long before the war. But she never told me of their names, nor what they sheltered from, locked within a leather cover in a life of 21. Sometimes alone at evening I'd lie and read the book. I'd study all the faces, search for secrets in their looks. But each one was a stranger from a land across the sea, with families and with lovers locked away from them and me. But she never told me of their names, nor what they sheltered from, locked within a leather cover in a life of 21. Young men came from America to stand on glory's side. In typhoons and in hurricanes they fought before they died. In wimpies over Holland they struggled home in vain, to end amidst the flare path's glare in violent storms of flame. But she never told me of their names, nor what they sheltered from, locked within a leather cover in a life of 21. Me mother used to talk about her memories of the war, recall the old stories now she can tell no more. But as she turned the pages, a mist would cloud her face, leaving memories long unspoken of each photo in its place. But she never told me of their names, nor what they sheltered from, locked within a leather cover in a life of 21. Now no one knows the answers, no one to tell the tale. The book stored in a cupboard with its colours turning pale. But every page set turning recalls the faces gone of men once loved by someone, lost to all at 21. But she never told me of their names, nor what they sheltered from, locked within a leather cover in a life of 21. Oh, we had to make the beaches from a lousy LCI, and the landing ramps were swaying like a Portsmouth dockyard drunk. She'd pitched us and she'd heaved us till we had to land or die, and by the time we'd made it, half the tank support had sunk. So a seasick sodden rabble, we ran blindly everywhere, while the Germans thinned the numbers out at Saint-Auban-sur-Mer. Aye, the Germans thinned the numbers out at Saint-Auban-sur-Mer. We had practiced, aye, we'd practiced at the great invasion plan, storming undefended beaches from a friendly Dorset shore. But when the tanks were grinding through the wounded in the sand, we knew we weren't on Blighty exercises anymore. And we grew up very quickly, moving out through street and square, shooting first and asking after, at Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer, shooting first and asking after at Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer. We had patriotic heroes, we had make-believe old sweats, but none had come with 1914 innocence for fun. If we paid the bill again for them this time they'd not forget, and there'd be a golden future when the present job was done. But hero, sweat or dreamer, the old reaper didn't care, as the German swung his scythe through us at Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer. Aye, the German swung his scythe through us at Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer. And now I see the glories of the brave new world we've made, from the slaughter and the sacrifice, the maiming and the pain. And I see the lying leaders as they posture and parade, and trample on the dead men's dreams and ride to war again. So don't tell me I was lucky, I came back from over there. The lucky ones died with their dreams in Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer. Aye, the lucky ones died with their dreams in Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer. They're building a camp on the cornfields at Arlingham, bulldozers churning and changing the land. Long barbed wire fences and acres of tarmac, nissen huts ranged where the crops used to stand. Wide-eyed young village girls giggling and staring at tanks and transporters that darken the sky. There's convoys of lorries with fresh faces peering out. So many young men come learning to die. They say you can still hear the village hall band. Grey, ghostly couples still glide round the floor, but Normandy orchards were waiting to welcome new partners for death in the mad dance of war. And Mother has started a comforts committee, but Reverend John's more concerned about sin. Hughes at the White Swan is rubbing his hands a lot, watching the troops and the profits roll in. Eager young squaddies with overdone courtesy, tipping their caps to the girls going by. But too soon from school to be licentious soldiery. So many young men come learning to die. They say you can still hear the village hall band. Grey, ghostly couples still glide round the floor, but Normandy orchards were waiting to welcome new partners for death in the mad dance of war. And Mother would have a blue fit if she knew about Lieutenant Johnson and walks in the wood. She's laid down the law, and she's always gone on about men being beasts, so a girl must be good. But even she'd laugh at our clumsy propriety, me far too fearful and him far too shy. She might even pity his lonely bewilderment. One of the young men come learning to die. They say you can still hear the village hall band. Grey ghostly couples still glide round the floor, but Normandy orchards were waiting to welcome new partners for death in the mad dance of war. And peace came to Allingham many long years ago. Time passing by healed the scars on the land. Tanks on the village green, just a fond memory. Now corn grows again where the huts used to stand. Yet when I walk in the woods on a summer's night, by the tree's edge, when the wind starts to sigh, I still hear their voices all rising in harmony. Lost, wasted young men come learning to die. They say you can still hear the village hall band. Grey ghostly couples still glide round the floor, but Normandy orchards were waiting to welcome new partners for death in the mad dance of war.